I'm making this video in response to communication I've had with GPT Industries about a device for installing an isolating joint on a section of pipeline without taking the pipeline out of service. And this communication confirms for me that my survey of the status of this field of engineering is that we don't have something like this at the moment, and that we would many pipeline operators would benefit if they could do this using the device I designed. Now, I anticipate a number of barriers to the commercial application of this design. One of which is how to protect this from competition, because although the device is quite unique and innovative, there are always many ways to skin a cat, and once the idea and the concept that I have designed is out in the open, there will be other engineers who will come up with another way to achieve the same end that might undermine any patent or intellectual property rights. So that is one area, and I suggested a way to avert this, and that is to have a think tank of engineers to look at what I designed, anticipate some possible alternatives, and include those in a single patent application. Another barrier will be how to convince pipeline operators that this is a good thing, that it will save them disruption of service. And the thing is that these pipeline operators themselves will not be the people to talk to. We would have to talk to people in the cathodic protection industry. They would need to be convinced that this is a valuable asset, a valuable part of their toolkit, which they would then recommend to the pipeline operators. So finding large cathodic protection, surveillance and design companies would be the way to go. And they would need to be brought into the bargain. In fact, it might be necessary to form a partnership with one of the big cathodic protection design and monitoring people, and work with these people. The other thing is that this particular product, being something completely new to the industry, will require a certain amount of not research and development, but testing. And so workshop testing will be the first step to prove that it can be safely and effectively installed on a pipeline under pressure, and that and then the other factor is that it must be a long-term reliable device. Now, long-term reliability will come mostly from the design itself, and verification of the design by competent mechanical engineers. So that's not a big problem, but money will be needed because there are a couple of variations of this particular product depending on the type of product in the pipeline and the pressure rating and size. And so, a number of variations of this particular device will need to be produced as a prototype and tested in the workshop. That takes time and money, and that's the first step towards introducing this to industry. Now, some companies might be very interested in being involved, but they might not have the resources and the capital investment to prove the product and to produce demonstration and marketing videos, because that's another crucial factor. Potential users of this product will need to see in a video presentation how it is installed, and they need to be convinced by looking at an application. Again, producing these things takes time and money, and it will require, so it may be necessary for a company like GPT Industries to team up with one or two, I almost say competitors, and form a syndicate to launch this product not only in the United States but worldwide, because I believe this particular device will be a valuable tool in the toolkit of cathodic protection people on a global scale. So there's, I think there is a huge potential commercial interest, and so it's worth investing. Another particular factor at the moment is that there is uncertainty and confusion in the markets with regarding the future economy of the world. And so companies are hesitant to start looking at development, R&D and new products at this stage. However, as everybody knows, new products take time to get to the point where they are ready to be manufactured and sold. So the time to start on this project is now, so that everything is ready to go when the economy turns up again, and hopefully that will not be more than a year or two from now. Another one of the obstacles that would need, not obstacles, but another part of this whole procedure is, although this device is fairly complicated, it's using conventional tools and techniques in a sense, but it would need people to be trained, because the procedure to install this device is going to be quite meticulous, and if people are not trained to do the installation safely, carefully and properly, the product will get a bad name. In other words, there may be leakages after installation if the procedures aren't properly followed, and if people don't know what they're doing, there could be safety risks. So that's another factor that needs to be incorporated in this project, is installation procedures and training and certification. None of the barriers are too great to be overcome, but each one of them requires careful attention for this to be a success. And I would love to be involved in all the steps along the procedure, all the steps of the way towards launching this as a valuable asset in the cathodic protection industry and in the pipeline transportation industry. And I look forward to more discussions along these lines.